recently took a look at the Cybergun FNX-45, and today we're going to take a little in-depth look at some of the differences on this pistol compared to other airsoft pistols on the market, and we're going to do a little bit of a maintenance guide as well, as these pistols do come very dry from the factory. So let's get started. First I'm going to remove the magazine and slide the top slide off the bottom rail. And then what I'm going to do is remove the thread protector off the barrel. And then we're going to remove the spring guide. Just pulls out like any other normal spring guide, similar to the WE version of pistol, and of course the Maruis. Just pull back on the spring guide, let it loose, and then remove it. And then we're going to slide the outer barrel forward and then pivot it up and pull it out. Now to remove the little spring on the hop unit, which sits on this little piece on the barrel, you're going to need a set of pliers or a pair of tweezers. And then the hop unit should push out. As you can see here, it's a tiny little spring. It actually gets clamped into the hop unit and sits onto the outer barrel. Just a firm push on the hop unit will free it up from the outer barrel. Set that to one side. Now we're using a small Phillips screwdriver here, just to remove the two screws in the hop unit. We're just going to pull the side off, which will reveal all the internal parts of the hop unit. It's the same system as Marui and WE using their pistols. It's just a simple wheel pulling down a small arm onto the top of the hop unit. As you can see here, it pulls down on the two sides of the hot rubber. Now the barrel and hot rubber in these are Marui compatible, so any aftermarket hot rubbers that you can buy for your Marui pistols or VSRs will be compatible with this pistol. One of the first upgrades I'd recommend is probably a tight bore barrel. As you can see here, it's pretty much exactly the same. So while I've got the pistol apart, we're going to get a good clean of the inner barrel. Get any of that gunk or grease that comes from the factory. You can use lint-free cloth and a cleaning rod. I tend to use a Celsius barrel cleaner. It tends to work great in pistols. Just going to give a wipe of the hop unit as well, and the hot rubber, get any grease or contaminants. And then we're basically just going to reverse the process in reassembling the hop unit. First we're going to replace the barrel. Then we're going to place in the tiny spring which connects the hop unit to the outer barrel. Then we're going to place the little plastic wheel which you adjust, moving the hop arm up and down, applying pressure to the top of the hop rubber. Then we're going to apply the metal arm. This can be a little bit tricky. Just make sure everything's in place and seated before the other half of the hop unit goes back on. You can see how the hop is fully assembled, apart from the left hand side case. Then we're going to replace the two metal screws and secure the hop unit back together. As you can see, you turn the hop wheel counterclockwise to apply hop, and clockwise to take hop off. Then for the blowback unit, we're going to remove the two rear screws. Same again, small Phillips screwdriver. We're going to flip the slide over and push the rear iron sight out. And then we're using a 2mm Allen key to remove the two small screws off the top. And we're going to flip the slide back over. We're going to gently pull the blowback unit from out of the top slide. Be careful to hold the back piece of the blowback unit as its spring is quite strong. You don't want this flying out and disappearing across the room. Then we're going to move these components off the back and just set them to one side. And then because this is basically reverse blowback unit and nozzle system, there's a little plastic cap on the one side, and this houses the return spring for the nozzle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to gently pull this out, making sure the return spring doesn't shoot out, as they can be under tension. After that, the nozzle and the return spring will just pull out of the blowback unit, which is all one piece. As you can see, the reversed system where the nozzle actually acts as the piston and the blowback unit being the cylinder. After review, I quite like this system. It looks like it's going to be very reliable in regards to the normal system where the nozzle goes over the piston, which is housed in the blowback unit. I'm hoping to see this on future pistols that they release. It's made of a very strong plastic. And then what we're going to do basically is I've clean the nozzle up. I've removed any grease or anything like that. We're basically using ASG Ultra Air Silicone Spray. We're going to spray it sparingly in all the working parts, any areas that are going to cause any friction inside the blowback unit. I'm going to put a bit on where the return nozzle spring sits. Make sure that moves freely and doesn't seize up. Because of this new system that they are using, you should be able to carry out easy maintenance without stripping the pistol down this far. Because as you pull the nozzle forward, it shows the whole O-ring, and there's not really any need to pull the nozzle out every time you clean and maintain it, unless that you are literally getting debris out of the blowback unit itself. I'm going to spray a little bit of silicone in the blowback unit. And it is nice to see companies using different methods rather than the same old everybody copy Marui and normally not get it quite as right as they do. In my opinion, they are still market leading in gas blowback pistols and their electric guns. I'm just going to push the return nozzle spring down and push the cap back in to hold the spring in place. This can be a little bit tricky. If you just use a small screwdriver or Allen key or pin or something to push a spring down while you pop the plastic cap back in place. Work that silicone all around the blowback unit. Just spray alongside the rails. Make sure there's no dry areas. I'm going to take the little assembly off the back, place that back on with the spring. Hold it firmly in place, and then as we insert this back into the slide, what you want to watch out for is the little extractor. You can see it's flipped up here, where I did notice and sort of push it round. And with that pushed back into place, the blowback unit will just slot straight back in. Just be careful to line it up properly and not force it in if it is getting stuck. It's simple as that. As you can see here, this camera's a little bit more suited for this type of video. I managed to pick up a proper HD camcorder rather than using my normal GoPro. And again, we're going to replace the two screws and tighten them up with a small Phillips screwdriver. And then we're going to turn the slide back over, fit our 2mm Allen key and replace the RMR cap. There's not much thread to these screws, they don't need tightening up to ridiculous amounts. And then as soon as the adapter arrives for the RMR, I'll do another video on fitting the RMR. And then we're going to push the barrel and hop assembly back into the outer barrel. And you will need again a set of pliers or a set of tweezers just to pull that spring back over and fit it into the slot. Definitely a unique system, and we'll see if this helps through the longevity of the pistol. And then we're going to fit the spring guide back into place. And we're going to reapply the barrel thread protector. Then we're going to spray some silicone oil down the rails of the pistol, and then we're going to do the same on the lower frame. I'm not going to go into depth in the lower frame, I don't really feel there's much need. I did want to point out that the pistol comes very dry and it does need lubrication, but I don't see any advantages in ripping the trigger mechanism apart just yet. It would be nice if a company released some kind of zero trigger or customised trigger for this pistol. Again, use it sparingly, there's no need to go overboard. It might seem like I'm spraying a lot, but there's very minimal amount of silicone coming out of the nozzle. And then I'm just going to put a dab into the trigger unit as well. Again, I had a little trouble with the slide release lever. Just didn't seem to go into place. I let the slide forward again, racked it back, and it just seemed to pop straight into position. Just going to work the silicone into the rails of the slide. It is a great sounding pistol, has a lovely clack to it. Just going to clean the any residue or any silicone oil that's leaked onto the outside surface of the slide. And simple as that, we're done.